We are glad to have you here. This is Street TV Zambia, the television for the people, keeping you with sports news, entertainment, education, and many more other entertaining programs on your fingertips. If you are new here, please subscribe to our Facebook page and YouTube channels for quality, reliable, and verified news. We appreciate for your continued support that you are always giving us for watching our programs on our platforms. To present this program, my name is Maria Abishai. Our top stories making headlines. There is a loud outcry by the South African to request the body of our former 6th Republican President of Zambia to be taken back here in the country for burial. They are asking the former first family to accept the challenge of repatriating the body of our former 6th Republican President of Zambia, Dr. Edgar because there are some traditions and other related issues that the South Africans have cited. Because if this situation is being accepted for our former 6th Republican President of Zambia to be buried in that country, it might trigger a lot of issues that will be very difficult for South Africa to sort out in the nearest future. Therefore, the South Africans are worried, and there is the large outcry for the body of our former 6th Republican President of Zambia to be taken back here in the country for burial at Memorial Embassy Park here in Lusaka. If you want to hear more in the following report from the South Africa organizations that held the press conference yesterday.
Good morning, South Africans. Good morning, fellow patriots. Good morning, Your Majesty. My name is Bonang Sepolwane. I'm a national organizer of Progressive Forces of South Africa. I am here to brief the media in regards with the questions on why, as Progressive Forces, we have decided to stand up and dig deep into the Edgar Lungu's passing and the rumor of him being buried in South Africa. As Progressive Forces of South Africa, we have decided that we will take the responsibility and dig in the issue of why Edgar Lungu is the family want to bury him in the country. We had a space, I believe, on the 18th of June after the family announced that they are not going to take his remains to Zambia. On that space, we had visitors from Zambia and other SADC residents who came on X, and they claimed that the reason for that was because Edgar will be used by the opponents in Zambia and then for Muti and African magic purposes. But as a movement, we saw that as not a reasonable reason of why a former president wouldn't want to be buried at home. On the 25th of June, Edgar Lungu was supposed to leave the country, South Africa. Our government, South Africa, deployed SANDF and the media houses to go and make a send-off to Zambia with the regards with Edgar Lungu. With that being said, around 3 p.m., we saw on Newsroom Africa the announcement being made that the family have decided to bury Edgar Lungu within the Republic of South Africa as per his request. It was amazing to us as movement and asking ourselves questions on why will a former president who have people that he served wouldn't want his own people to mourn him. With that being said, we went into the social media. We went into articles of Zambian media and tried to find out what might be the reason in that regard. Number one, what we have found out, we found out that there are cases that the current regime have opened against the immediate family of Mr. Edgar Lungu. Mr. Lungu himself, he got immunity because of the status that he holds, which is former president. But the current immediate family have to go and answer those cases in Zambia. One of those cases is in regards with the first lady, the first former lady, Mrs. Esther Lungu. He's in position. One of the cases as follows. There's a possession of property reasonable suspected to be proceeds of crime. The property includes a complex 15 luxury double-story, which worth 27 million kwacha, was forfeited by the state by the Economic Financial Crimes Court in 2024. The second one, also against Mrs. Esther Nyawa Lungu, is again a possession of property reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime, which also includes 15 luxury properties, which worth 15 million, also forfeited by the Economic Financial Court. The third one is in regards with Honorable Tasila Lungu, who is a daughter of His Excellency Edgar Lungu. She is facing charges of possession of farm property estimated to be 600 hectares in size, situated at the Forest Reserve in Sinda District, Eastern Provinces, valued at 9 million kwacha. The farm was seized by the state following a judgment passed by the Economic Financial Crimes Court. Number 4, the case is the People versus Chieso Lungu, which also is a daughter. Possessing property reasonable suspected of being proceeds of crime, Ms. Lungu, who is also the daughter of late former Republican president, was charged with corruption charges involving her ownership of Lusaka 3-story luxury lodge, valued at approximately 22 million, also suspected to be the proceeds of crime. The other one is the People against Mr. Dalito Lungu, son of the late former President of the Republic. He is in possession of suspected of being proceeds of money laundering. Mr. Lungu, who is a son of the late former president, was charged with money laundering and being in a possession of 48 motor vehicles, reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime valued at approximately 25 million kwacha. There's also a question in regards with the Mopani mine beneficiaries. The beneficiaries of the Mopani mines are here residing within our country. They own the Ndozo Lodge in Lusaka, and then it's being used as a subject to the scheme. We are not fighting the Lungus. We are here saying, go and clear your name and come back to SA. We are also saying His Excellency Mr. Lungu cannot be buried in a foreign country when he was a servant of the Zambians. The Zambians deserve to bury their own leader. As South Africans, we know very well we have an issue of land. Since colonization and also apartheid, we have land claims that are being claimed via ancestral lineage. And graves are part of the instrument that we use when we want to claim the land. We don't want in the future that we are going to have an issue of the Lungus generation to come the descendant of Mr. Lungu to come and claim the land in SA and pointing to their grandfather's grave. We have a deep-rooted issue with the Zambians from during apartheid struggle. The Zambians is the one of the country that have contributed to our struggle. They have harbored our exiles. We also know that the Zambians, there are graves of our exiles currently in Zambia. We are not fighting the Zambians. What we will not allow is the current African leaders who loot the coffers of their people to take the loot and come and enjoy it in peace in South Africa. We know very well that African leaders have been looting their country's resources and then go and enjoy the loot in Europe and the West. Now it's UAE. We have also found out with this case that there are more looters of the continent who have now found heaven in our country, South Africa. We saw in the last elections of Zambia, the Zambian youth went out in their numbers, not only to go and cast the vote to change the regime. They went there because they wanted change. They got their votes from the voting station to where the votes were being gathered. We saw the videos in 2023 during the national elections of Zambia because they were tired. They were tired that the regime was collecting debt from the West, from the East, but there were no infrastructures in Zambia. I believe it will be unfair for us as South Africans to keep quiet and let the Lungus to bury their people in South Africa without letting the Zambians to mourn their leader, without letting them to go back home and face the Zambians and clear their name. Thank you very much.
I'm of South African Concerned Citizens, which is a civic movement. We are in the confederation called COSAU. COSAU means the Confederation of South African Citizens. So what I would like to state here is we are apolitical, we are non-political. So we are confederated with a lot of entities, including ministries, cooperatives. We are also business-oriented. Mine, it's simple. As a South African, it's very simple here. After thorough consultation with other leaders of other entities about this matter, we would love to say our kindest condolences to the state leader who has passed on. May his soul rest in perfect peace that it deserves. So ours is simple, as I've said. Mine is simple here as a representative of COSAU. Here in South Africa, we've got laws. We've got a constitution. There is a law that is governing South Africa, which is the constitution. So we are asking that the government that is deployed to govern this South Africa, let it make it a point that these proceedings that they are intending to do, they are lawful. When they are not lawful, it's going to be a problem for South Africans. And we are saying, on behalf of all the South Africans, the ordinary South Africans, we are saying we are with you. Since COSAU, it's a structure that deals with addressing the social ills of South Africa. We've got borders, we've got laws, we've got everything that is supposed to be done according to the law. So we are saying let law be practiced in this country. I thank you.
Edgar Lungu. We are saying this comes as a threat to South Africa as the nation. The question is, when the person of the status like Mr. Lungu is being buried, whose flag is going to be lowered? Is it our South African flag or is it a Zambian flag? Because this person is not anybody person. It's not anybody that just like me, you can just bury. He deserves a dignity as the former president of Zambia. Okay, the issue of the family, Mr. Lungu's family, as DSA, we stand for transparency and accountability. We are saying the family should go back home and account for all those crimes that we just had here. They've been listed. South Africa is not the country where we harbor criminals. South African government should please try to control the level of criminals that are entering our South African country. Just like I said, I won't have to prolong this. In conclusion, we had our chief when he said a person must be buried where his bones xitsonga hi ri laha kava wa n'we u nga sala ko xikava ni xa n'wana xi nga wela kona nga Xivenda hunde mukutwa wawe wa sala hone. So Mr. Lunga deserves a dignity. People of Zambia deserve dignity. They deserve to mourn their president. We have the issue of influx of illegal immigrants in South Africa. That's not it's not something that we can say it's a lie. We are dealing with this issue in South Africa. So the person of the status like Mr. Lunga being buried in South Africa, it's gonna give many Zambian citizens to come here and say they're coming to see their president's grave, and at the end of the day, they end up staying in South Africa. And when we raise that issue, we will be labeled as xenophobic. And we are not being xenophobic, but we're trying to protect what belongs to us. We love our African brothers and sisters, but what they are doing in our country, seriously, is not humanity enough. So I thank you. Mr. Lunga must be buried home. Thank you.
Once again, good afternoon, members of the media, colleagues, patriots. Yeah, just sorting this out. Yeah. Before we close today's briefing, allow me to bring the conversation back to the heart of the issue: the truth, transparency, and accountability. It has now come to light to us that the former president, Edgar Lungu, was allegedly admitted into a Pretoria hospital under a false name. That forces us to ask critical questions on our own government. Who did South African authorities officially declare dead? This is not a trivial question. When a former head of state dies on South African soil, there are protocols and diplomatic guidelines, national population register processes. But in this case, it seems none of these steps were properly followed. Instead, we are left with secrecy, irregularities, and now the risk of diplomatic crisis unfolding on our watch. Why is our government so silent on this? Let us also not forget why this matter is so sensitive for the people of Zambia. The former First family and their associates are currently facing serious corruption charges back home. We have noted also just a bit, there was a journalist and also he was part of the Zambian ambassador. His name is Emmanuel Muamba. Since 2015-2019, just to clarify, we are a civic movement. We're not a political party. And we are not here to hang out dirty linen. If he wants to do that, we can do that. We can call out also even his infidelities of people's wives, but we're not all over that. Right. These are not allegations of petty theft. This is about state capture, asset looting, the plundering of Zambian national wealth, and accountability cannot be denied. Let us also not forget that this network is believed to be connected to concealed luxury properties abroad, including luxury beach resorts in undisclosed countries. And Ndozo Lounge in Lusaka now also a subject of asset seizure investigations. And yes, there are whispers that initial Mapupane mine also sells to what my colleague was talking about. Sales beneficiaries are here in South Africa living comfortably, while ordinary citizens in Zambia are struggling to make ends meet. So we close with these final questions. Why was South Africa became the preferred destination for political elites fleeing justice from their home countries? Why was Edgar Lungu not flagged in the National Population Registry when his days was expired in April? Who is our government protecting, and what cost to our sovereignty? I'll just give you a highlight of our president, and also I'll put it in inverted commas, allegedly. He arrived in SA January 19, 2025 with a diplomatic passport. and the passport, it's D001381, which was granted 90 days. This is quite important to note that on his arrival date, that he was picked up from the departure terminal. Remember that word. By a luxury Audi Q7, top of the range, blue in color, and its registration number and understood to belong to a Zambian businessman who's got international ties, even here in South Africa. To claim that he was picked up by a taxi, why would a free traveler be picked up at a departure terminal as opposed to an arrival terminal? That's where we are. We are not here to attack individuals. We are here to defend the integrity of regional justice, the dignity of our people of Zambia, and the rights of our ordinary South African citizens who will bear the cost of political impunity. We want transparency and accountability, and we demand that the former President Lungu be returned to his people for a dignified burial in Zambia, not hidden away in shadows of diplomatic loopholes in our country. We cannot afford to be silenced in this matter. I thank you.
Thank you very much for watching our programs on our platforms, and God bless you.